Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Hung Jam podcast. My name is Janice.
I'm Jessica.
Just a friendly reminder to please rate our podcast on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Give us 5 stars. And yeah, Jess, how are you?
From give us 5 stars to Jess, how are you? Uh, Dude, I'm having a great week, Janice. I am officially on summer break.
Oh, yes.
On my first day of summer break, I got my nails done. I got my lashes did.
Wow.
And I just had a grand old time. Today, I actually went to Orange Theory for the first time with Joanne and Joyce, my neighborhood unnies.
Wow. Have you ever done a workout class like that before?
I mean, I have like here and there. Usually, like I feel like I do Pilates or I just like get a gym membership. But it was I think, like first time in a while doing like a workout class like that, and I actually enjoyed it. It was really fun and motivating to do it with like the unnies, and they were playing a lot of like like throwback songs.
Oh,
I think one of them was like "Snap Your Fingers." So I was like
a
dancing on
classic.
the treadmill.
It wasn't too intense.
So the thing about Orange Theory is like it's like a hit workout, right? Like you go from like base where you're like resting and then you kind of push yourself and then you have to go all out and you're going like between those 3 zones. But the good thing about Orange Theory is like you can kind of adjust based on like how you exercise. So it was my first time working out in a while.
Yeah.
And even though you're supposed to go all out, I did try my best, but I would do like lighter weights. I did more like power walking instead of like running.
I've never done Orange Theory, but I've done berries before, and berries is very intense. So I don't know, like I imagine it to be kind of similar to that.
How does berries work? Can you tell me?
The light in the room is just red. So you're in a dark red room. So you go in there feeling super like something epic is going to happen, right? And the music is just freaking loud, like blasting. And then, so there's like one section where it's treadmills, and then the other section is weights. And so you choose a side. It doesn't matter which side you choose because you're going to go onto the other side at the half mark. I always started at the treadmill, I think. And then like after like 30 minutes or like 20 minutes, the instructor will like tell you to switch to weights. So you get a chance to do both. And then it's like 50 minutes. But it's like freaking intense because the music's loud. Like I said, you're in a dark room. And Danielle and I, there was a time when we took berries very seriously. We did like once or twice even a week. And this was like before your wedding, Jess, actually, because we wanted to get in shape. And so I think we did it for like a couple months. If you look back on Jess's wedding photos, my arms were so nice at the time. I was like so toned. It's funny because like while I was running on the treadmill, I remember like I'd just be like sweating like crazy, right? Because like they really push you. You can like run to your pace, but it's like in that kind of atmosphere, you can't not try your best. You feel like a beast.
Yeah.
And like the music's like so, it pumps you up like crazy. What got me going was, especially when like I like would get into my treadmill, right? And then there's like a pretty skinny white girl next to me. Then I would go all out. I would try to beat her, like outrun her. And it would feel so good when I like, outran that person. I would just take my shirt off and just like sweat in my sports bra and like look at myself in the mirror in the dark and just like you feel so good about yourself.
Orange Theory is like pretty similar actually. It's like sectioned off into like 2 parts. So you could start off like either on the treadmill or like the weight and rowing machine.
Oh, rowing machine.
What we started off is like rowing machine, and then you go back and forth between the rowing machine and weights. And then after you do that for like 30 minutes or so, you go to the treadmill, and then you do like a hit workout where you like go from rest, you push yourself to all out, and then like you just go to like the different zones like that. And then it's like the whole workout is about an hour.
So are you going to keep doing it?
I'm considering it.
Okay. Yeah, because you're on summer vacation now.
I'm surprised though, because like a lot of people just like do it once a week. And like that sounds very little to me. But I guess people just do that, huh?
Yeah, I mean, for like a intense workout, I feel like once a week is good enough. Like when I did berries, I hated my life. Getting there, right, is half of the work.
Yeah.
Once a week felt like hell to me, even just once a week. And I was like, I really don't want to do this. But after, it feels so good. It felt so good. Anyways, yes, health is wealth, especially now that we're in our 30s. We have to take care of our bodies. That includes also like not sleeping super late. Like what I did yesterday. I slept at 1 a.m. last night. Maybe that's why my head hurts right now.
Oh yeah, 1 a.m. is pretty late. I've been sleeping pretty late too because Josh and I took Janice's Kangchu and we've been watching Sibling Romance and it is actually so good. But we watch it once we put Hui down and like after dinner and after we do all of our chores. So we started around like 9 or like 10.
Wow.
And it's freaking 2.5 hours long, like
It's
each
too long.
episode. So we finish at like 12. And then if it's like a cliffhanger, we have to watch a little bit of the next episode. So we do that and then we end up like sleeping at like 1 a.m. So thank you, Janice, for that Kangchu. But it is a pretty hefty show, I would say.
Yeah. No, anytime I see you when you're active on Instagram at like 11 p.m., I'm like so impressed because, you know, you have a kid, but you still need to spend your alone time and that leads you to stay up even though you know you have to wake up at like 6 a.m. the next day.
It's so funny because Hui, like in the morning, he wakes up at like 6:20ish, 6:30.
Oh, okay, not bad, not bad.
Without fail, every day he wakes up at that time. And I got like 5-6 hours of sleep. And I just like in the morning, like I am a zombie. I cannot 정신 차려. I cannot wake up. And I'm like trying my best to keep him entertained. And like at the same time, I'm like, you know, laying down on the mat and like having like one eye closed, one eye open. But then once he goes down for the night, something in me, man, like something comes alive, and I legit, even though I didn't take a nap, even though like I'm really tired, right?
Yeah.
Like I get so excited and pumped, and I just like wanna like do stuff. And then
Wow.
the next day I regret it, but it's a vicious cycle every night and every morning.
Is that like a you thing or do you think other moms of like young kids can relate to that?
Dude, I bet every single parent listening to this can relate. It's called yuktae for a reason, right? So for those of you who guys don't know that term, yuktae means yuga 퇴근. So you're basically what is it? Like clocking out of taking care of your child, right? Like your shift is over and, you know, it's party time.
But anyways, I stayed up last night at 1 a.m. because I was watching the new cult documentary on Netflix called Dancing with the Devil.
Did you finish it?
I finished it. We finished it in one sitting. It's 3 episodes long. Yeah, it was crazy. And David was like, he didn't want to watch it with me because like for me, I get so intrigued by these things, right? Like cult documentaries, true crime. But then after he hates it because I'm only talking about, you know, the show. First, it's me like asking the same exact questions and talking about the show constantly. And then it's me like kind of questioning my life and like my beliefs and everything because like it shakes me so much. And so David's like, okay, I'll watch it with you, but you have to promise that you're not going to be disturbed or like you're not going to say the same thing over and over again. And I was like, okay, I promise. He's like, if you do, I'm never gonna watch anything with you ever again. I was like, okay, I promise. But then 오늘 아침에 like 나도 모르게 I was like talking about it. I'm like, dude, how can like someone be brainwashed like that? I kept asking that. And then he's like, all right, that's it. I didn't know anything about this show actually until Jason, shout No Sag. So like David recently uploaded a reel about him dehydrating Hailey Bieber's Erewhon smoothie. You know, the really viral $18 smoothie. And then No Sag commented, oh, I could see the 7M dancers drinking this. And I had no idea what the heck he was talking about. So I like responded to his comment. I was like, Jason, what are you talking about? He's like, oh, you know, it's about this cult. And I was like, okay. And then I saw it on Netflix and I was like, how in the world does like a cult have anything to do with like a group of viral dancers? This cult leader happens to be freaking Korean, of course. I didn't even know that. Like, I thought it was just going to be like a, I don't know, a white cult or something like that. But this leader is legit Korean. His last name is Shin. Like, he somehow gets these dancers and he promises them like fame and money and like somehow it ends up working for them. And so like a lot of these dancers, you have seen them on TikTok. Like there are a lot of familiar dance videos that went viral. And these cult leaders, they're so psychotic, but they're kind of smart, you know?
We talked about it today. I didn't watch it, but I heard that like they can't do anything about it because like these dancers and these poor victims who are being brainwashed, they're technically like consenting to whatever is happening.
Yeah.
So even though like the parents want like, you know, to save their children and like their kids from this cult,
Yeah.
they can't do anything. They can't like press any charges because it's them that's like consenting to doing everything.
Yeah.
And even like I heard there's like sexual grooming involved where the pastor like makes them like massage him or something, and they're brainwashed to think it's a privilege to do these things for him.
Yeah, it's crazy because these people are like young people like living in LA. You know, it's so close to home. And the main girl that they focused on in the documentary, like her family is like very, you know, they want their daughter back. And so they focus on this girl who has like 1 million followers on Instagram and stuff like that. And she actually released a statement like on her story yesterday saying like, I want to share my side of the story. I'm not brainwashed. My family thinks I'm in a cult, but I'm not. I'm fine. And this is the choice. This is the life I'm living. These are the choices that I'm making. And I read that. I was like, you know what? Like her family, and I cried a lot during this documentary, and you will too, Jess, because you can tell the family loves their daughter the parents love their daughter so much, and they're so desperate to have her back. But like the daughter is so brainwashed at this point. There's no point of return.
Yeah.
And like after I saw the story, I was like, you know, that's so true. It's her life, and if she chooses to be brainwashed, then like what can they do? You know?
Yeah.
They literally tried everything to bring her out, but she's in too deep. It's funny because like every time I watch like these cult shows, right, I'm like, how can these people be so brainwashed? These are smart people, smart young people like living in LA. How is that possible? But I definitely want to talk about this story a little bit later once we bring in more guests. But like when I was young, I had like I wasn't in a cult, but like maybe this is why I'm so intrigued by these stories, because when I was younger, I was part of like this after school where the principal's son made us gather in weekly groups. We got together every Saturday and like he called it discipleship. He would like share a message from the Bible, and then there was a time of confession. So we would have to go around and like share what we thought was like a sin that we committed that week. Or like, you know, so like, and then the group was like mixed, like girls and guys. And so like the guys would say like, oh yeah, I watched porn this week. Or like, and then like for me at the time, I was like obsessed with 동방신기, you know, like I had like idols in my life. So I would say, yeah, I loved 동방신기 too much. And like I didn't read my Bible. Instead, I was like on YouTube watching their music videos. That was like my confession. But anyways, that's just a preview of what's to come, because our friends Jane, Sarah, Jeong, they were also involved in this group. And so that's gonna be another episode.
That's a crazy story, dude. Like I remember when I heard it, I was like, what? Who is this guy? Like, what's wrong with him? Dude, I'm excited to hear that your guys' cult story. Because that was like low-key a cult. You guys are part of a cult. But I love how, Janice, since you can't talk about it you can't debrief with David, you're debriefing with me.
Exactly. I had all of these questions. He's right there. He had all these questions, but I had to keep it all in. After we finished the show, I was just like, wow, that was crazy.
Wow. This is what I was going to say, actually. Like, even though it's hard to understand like how these people can get brainwashed. Remember we were talking about this before, Janice? Like, if you like were born into this, or like you're just so into not only this religion, but you're part of a community where everyone else is following this, you know, these acts and these rhythms, and you know, it just seems it becomes your new normal.
Yeah.
You know, not that KCM was a cult, but we were part of like a Korean American campus mission, basically a Christian club at UCLA, and it's a pretty big one. It's in like almost every UC campus.
Yeah.
And it's a legit club, and you know, there's nothing wrong with the club, but like for us, we were in it for all 4 years of
Dedicated.
college, and that's where you and I met, Janice. That's where we made like lifelong friends. And you know, we were really dedicated. Every day there was something going on.
You're right.
And I don't know about you, Janice, but after KCM and I graduated and I went into the real world. I started working. I started meeting more people beyond just my Korean American Christian circle. Like I was kind of like shocked. Like, oh my gosh, like especially when we went to our Germany trip, that's when we kind of hung out with people outside of our Christian friend group.
Yeah.
And I was like, what kind of bubble was I living in? And even though it's not a cult, like I can imagine like living like that every day and getting used to like whatever you're hearing, whatever everyone else is doing and thinking that's normal.
Yeah.
Like that's just, I guess, like we're creatures of habits and, you know, like you just follow what everybody is doing and you just feel comfortable in like the routine that you have. So I can very much relate, like even though I've never been part of a cult,
Yeah.
because I've been part of like a group where I spent like 4 years in, like that's all I ever knew. And like I thought the ultimate goal is to be a small group leader or like a core leader, like which is great, but it's just,
That's
you know, it's just
true.
kind of dumb, you know, like like there's so much more to life and so much more to Christianity and the gospel than just KCM and serving,
Yes.
you know, as a small group leader.
Yeah, you know, actually, the documentary like mentions that. So in the beginning, the church started off normal, and you know, in the 90s, a lot of immigrants went to church to find a sense of like belonging, you know, community, not just for the
Yes.
religion. So like that's how like he gathered a lot of people, you know, like by sharing food together and like fellowshipping together, and then like eventually he like, you know, went down the twisted path. But that's how it all started.
Right. And usually cults target people from broken families, from, you know, just difficult backgrounds because they're more
Yes.
vulnerable and they're going to try to find that kind of like sense of worth and belonging in places where they're like feeding into that, you know?
Right.
So it's really sad, but I could totally imagine that that would happen.
Yeah. Sorry. And then there was one, I just want to say one more thing, but there was one woman, like two sisters that came and shared their story, and they're Korean American. And it was like they're so brave for sharing their story, right? So one of the sisters, the younger sister, she got out earlier. So she was like, she's safe now. She has a family and all these things. But her older sister stayed in the cult for like over 20 years.
Yeah.
Right. And it's so sad because that's all she knew. And she was saying, like, I spent my golden years in this cult, not knowing anything else. And she, even though like she came out of it, like that didn't solve everything because she's so traumatized and so used to the cult being like her home.
Yeah.
She's just so scarred, and now she just like is struggling to like live a normal life because that's the cult was all she knew. And like it's to the point where it's like she still listens to the pastor's sermons because like in a way it's like her comfort. It was like her home. Isn't that crazy? Mentally, it's like they effed her up like crazy.
Yeah. And actually Joanne was talking about that. Like she was saying like there was like a scene where she shows up late to her sister, like her niece's like birthday or something, and then her sister's getting mad at her and she's like, what the heck do you want me to do? Like every day I have to choose between, do I want to live or do I want to die? Like that's the struggle I'm going through right now because she's so effed up from that experience. And when I heard that, I was like, dude, that's so sad.
Yeah, that scene, I was shocked that they filmed it because it was such a raw and real conversation. I just feel so bad for that. And it's crazy that like they are, you know, 1 or 2 people away from us because they're like so close to OCLA.
Yeah. I mean, it could happen to anyone, which is the scary thing, you know?
I know.
Yeah.
무서워.
It's okay, Janice. Don't be scared. Do not fear because God is with you. You're part of an amazing church, citizens, with an amazing pastor, Pastor Jason. Shout out Pastor Jason. And shout out Pastor Thomas. They are both leading.
Shout out.
We are part of solid churches. So we, you know, there's nothing to fear, Janice.
That's true. That's true. Okay, that really brought me comfort, Jess. Thank you. There are just so many evil people out in the world. It just scares me. Anyways, I'm done with this talk. I'm done with the cold talk. I'm closing that and putting it away. Shall we go into our next segment for today's episode?
Yes,
Jess?
let's do it.
We, a couple weeks ago, asked our listeners to share some of their icks. And this is kind of an extension of last week's episode where we were talking about, like, what kind of irks us? What are our pet peeves? What annoys us? So we're just going to go through some of the icks that our readers, our listeners submitted, and maybe we'll be able to share some of our icks, right, Jess?
Yeah.
Why don't you read the first one and then we'll see like what we like have follow-ups and stuff.
Okay, this person has a French fry emoji as their username, but I think her name is Carrie. First one, guys that follow Instagram models when they're in a committed relationship and like the photo, like WTF. Ew! Guys armpit hair. When a guy has dirt underneath nails. A guy that can't parallel park. Also, sorry if this wasn't a guy-specific ick list. Those are all pretty bad, dude.
It's funny because a lot of the girls actually submitted icks with that have to do with only guys. I won't say who, but someone told me my ick, an ick is like an ugly guy or something.
That's just mean.
Okay, my sister says a lot of my friends are on dating apps, and some of the icks we came up with are: 1, they use brackets or the letter D to send smiles. I use the letter D to send a smiley face.
That's a very millennial thing to do.
Yeah, that's true.
그냥 아저씨 같은 거지. 아저씨 같아가지고.
Like a millennial thing is like kids these days, they don't use the laughing emoji, the cracking up emoji.
They use the skull emoji.
Yeah. And I catch myself using the laughing emoji and I like delete it and I use the skull emoji.
Me too. I do it all the time. And another thing is, which is really funny, Josh actually pulled up this list on Reddit and he was like, things that like millennials do that Gen Zs, like things that like you could tell it's a millennial, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, why are these all like I couldn't understand because these are all things that I do normally.
Yeah.
And I was shocked. I was like, oh my gosh, I am officially old because the laughing emoji is one thing.
Yeah.
And I still do it. And even though I catch myself and I try to change it to skull, sometimes it just doesn't hit the same as a laughing emoji. So I just do a laughing emoji sometimes. And then another thing was millennials make big purchases on their laptops or like they do like big things, like really like important things on their laptops instead of their phones.
I didn't know that.
You don't do that, Janice?
No, I didn't know. Well, it's funny because actually David pulled this exact same list and we were studying it together. And when he told me about the laptop thing, I was like, then what are kids spending their money on? I had no idea that they spend money on their phones. 나 진짜 몰랐어.
Wait, what do you mean?
Wait, I'm sorry. What is the actual thing? Can you say that again? I still don't understand it.
Like, okay, let me give you an example, okay?
Okay.
Wait, we actually had the same conversation over text and you didn't understand even then, and Josh and I were like trying to explain it to you a few weeks ago. Okay, let me break it down. Let me give you an example, okay? Janice, so like, for example, like sometimes we get each other like big gifts by having everybody pitch in.
Yes.
And like, for your wedding gift, a lot of your friends purchase expensive ass sandals or an expensive wallet or like like a Dyson, for one of our friends, right? But when you make those expensive purchases, because it's an important and expensive purchase, I'm not gonna make that purchase on my phone. I'm gonna pull my laptop, open it up, I'm gonna go to my browser and then make that purchase on the browser instead of making it on my phone.
Oh, like literally. Oh my god, it just clicked right now. I did not know what that was until now.
Not buying the phone, but buying anything expensive or important
on a laptop.
Gen Zers would just do everything on their phone, like Apple Pay, and just like pull it up on their phone.
Yeah.
But then for some reason, millennials, when they have to do something important, they're not going to do it on their phone. They're going to pull up their laptop.
That's hilarious because I relate to that so much. I mean, it's like kind of similar to like answering an email on your laptop versus a phone. If there's an important email, I always go to my laptop.
Yes. Yeah. So there's
Oh.
actually like a reel of like someone doing that where like she has like an important work email or
Yeah.
like something important to do for work. Most Gen Zers would just reply on their phone or do it on their, do anything on their phone. But for us, like if it's important, we're stressed, we're going to open up our laptops and do it on our laptop.
It's something so you and I do on a daily. Like I just imagine you like being really stressed and like busting out your laptop.
Yeah. So like a lot of the times, like for example, even my like admin job at church, there are a lot of things I could do over my phone, but because I'm a millennial and I feel 불안해 and like nervous about it, I have to do it on my computer after he goes down.
Like 확실하게 해야 돼.
I mean, it's funny because you could 확실하게 completely do it on your phone too. But for some reason, we have to 확실하게 do it on our computers. Isn't that so funny? Like, if you take a step back and think about it, it's really like ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it's so true.
Yeah.
And like, my heart is not at peace when I do things over my phone.
Yes. Dang. How did we get here, Jess? How do we, like, I thought we would be young forever, you know?
I know. Like, we are officially like, and it's so funny because Josh always does this. He does like the colon smiles and the, like the like equal underscore equal face. And it's like such an ajoshi thing. But I mean, I do sometimes too. And like, I didn't realize how, that another thing is you use LOL as a punctuation. Millennials do.
As a punctuation?
So
what does
they
that mean?
always finish.
Yeah.
A punctuation, like a period or an exclamation, right? So like we say like, where are you going? LOL. That's so funny. LOL.
Wait, so what do kids do then?
They just don't say LOL.
That's crazy to me. You have to finish the sentence with an LOL.
I mean, an LOL is essential to completing the phrase.
You know when I feel really old? When I felt really old is when I try to volunteer for our children's ministry at church once a month. A lot of college students volunteer, and because our church is in LA, there's a lot of UCLA and USC students. And then the first time I like volunteered, I met all these students and I was just so excited to meet them because, as like a UCLA 선배, I was just like happy to see them, So I'm like, like, what school do you go to? And like, I'm UCLA, like sophomore. I'm like, oh my God, really? Like, I went to UCLA too. And like, I started like talking about all these things. And I'm like, as I'm talking to them, like, they seem so like not interested. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember back in the day when I was a college student, I would think 30-year-olds were so irrelevant to my life and so much older. And like, in that situation, I was like, wow, okay, you know what? I'm old and I felt like a 꼰대, like giving them advice and like, all these things. And so now at children's ministry, when I meet like a new person and he or she is at UCLA, I just go, oh, nice. I don't even say that I went there. I just go, very nice.
I had a similar moment like that where I had to drop something off for Shim. Shout out Daniel Shim from our church. He is the college director at Grace Hill, and I had to drop something off for him. And they like on a Friday night when they were having like college service. And then it was like a little bit before service, and I had to like look for him, and I didn't know where he was. But there was a group of freshmen, like kids, like in a room, and I like. I don't know why, but I was so excited. The fact that I was excited to see like younger people, that in itself just like shows that I'm ajumma. But I was like, hi guys, like I'm Jessica. I'm just looking for Shim. Do you guys know where he is? And I was just like, like so happy to be around younger people.
Yeah.
And like, not that they were being mean or anything, but they were just like
right.
so like just they did not care that I was there. And they're like, oh, I think they're like Shim is over there. I was like, okay, thank you. And then I just left. But just like that lack of the excitement, and reciprocation of energy, I felt so like 아줌마 같았어. I was like, oh, God.
Because they're in their own world. They're in their bubble and they're having a good time with, just their colleagues. They don't got no time for a 30-year-old 아줌마 trying to burst into their bubble.
Yeah, they don't care about any ajummas. But another thing, Janice, like really quick before we move on to our icks, but I remember you said like when you use like GIFs on your stories or like just whatever, like in general, GIFs are a little bit like 아줌마, 아저씨, millennials, right? Outdated. But there are just sometimes where like it's just so funny to use GIFs. Like I love using GIFs. I will say I use a lot of GIFs over text, but I try to refrain myself from using it on my stories because after I heard that, yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna use it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so true. And another thing I thought was very interesting was instead of YOLO, people are saying I did it for the plot. Like I tried to say it. I can't say that one. That one's 나한테 너무 안 어울리는 말이야.
And there are a lot of like other things, right? Like it's giving or
I like it's giving.
there are just things that we sometimes will never be able to like get ourselves to do. And we have to stick to the millennial way. All right. This guy, next Ed Kim, he said, people who call homeless people hobos. What? I sometimes do that. Oops.
Me too.
Spelling kimchi with ease. Dudes whose rooms smell like they never wash their sheets. Yes, definitely. That hormone namja smell. When people regularly have bad breath and aren't aware of it, we know you're not brushing your teeth, bro.
Oh God.
People who don't use turn signals and don't yield. Oh yeah, that is, dude, this guy, this is a good one. People who go to parties, open their beers, take 2 sips and leave their drink somewhere. People who turn on the shower for like 10 minutes before they hop in. People who don't clear out the shower or kitchen sink net. People who treat expiration dates like gospel. I can keep going. Wow.
And it's funny because this is actually Sarah's sister's boyfriend, Suji's boyfriend, Ed.
Sarah's sister's boyfriend. Wow, dude, this one, I like this one. But I will say I'm kind of guilty of some of them too. So
The shower one? Are you guilty of the shower one?
oh yes, yeah. Because remember, I have my ritual, Janice. I have my ritual where I just turn the shower on and I'm just in my benti and I'm on the bed.
Like butt naked almost, just in her underwear. I'm like, Jess, when are you going to go into the shower? The water is running. It's hot in the bathroom.
And you're like, Jess, can you just go in and shower, please? Or like, just put some clothes on. And I'm like, no, this is my ritual.
And even after we moved out, like after we stopped being roommates, I would like FaceTime you and you're like on your bed or something. I'm like, are you doing your ritual right now? You're like, yes, I am.
It's my ritual. I gotta do it. All right, next one.
Holding the spoon in a way that the thumb points towards the bowl of the spoon. That's so specific. Like this?
뭔지 알 것 같아. It's like, yeah. Something
like eating like a barbarian.
Oh yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's so funny.
That is funny. That is an ick. Sneakerhead. Yeah, we know a lot of sneakerheads. And someone said, when guys order anything with a dome cup at Starbucks. Shout out Jessica Jeong. She's Kevin Shin's girlfriend. That's so funny. It is kind of an ick. It's like a frappuccino.
It's like basically when like a guy gets like a really girly cocktail kind of vibe, right?
Yeah. Thank you, Jessica. Same side sitters at a restaurant. Jess, are you a same side sitter with Josh? Or were you while you guys were dating?
No, definitely not. No, we were not. Definitely not.
나는 근데 그게 항상 부러웠어. Like I always wanted to do that.
I don't understand. Why would you do that though?
그냥 너무 좋아서. Like you want to be next to the person, show a little bit of PDA. You know, that's my dream.
Ick.
I just want a little bit of PDA.
That's definitely an ick. Should we read out their usernames, Janice?
Oh, yes, let's do that. That was from Einstein. Einstein also says, people taking their shoes off at a restaurant. But I kind of like that. You know, in Korea, they have those restaurants.
Yeah. Wait, what do you mean? People taking their shoes off like at a regular restaurant? Or
Maybe.
like a just sit-down restaurant? That's so weird. I've never seen that. You know why? Because Einstein is like, he worked in restaurants for a long time. So I'm sure he's seen a lot of wild stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
Einstein actually invited us to go to the Girl and the Goat, the OG Girl and the Goat in Chicago when Jess, Ellen, and I were visiting. And now he's off to doing even bigger and better things in LA.
He treated us well. Thank you, Einstein.
Okay, the next one's really funny by Josephine. Men who dance seriously. That's a really good ick because I don't know like if you knew like a dancer back in the day, but I definitely knew somebody who took dancing very seriously. Back in high school and in college too. Actually, we both know somebody.
Yeah. No, it's funny because I remember like for us at UCLA and I think like across all UCs, a group called Casa, which is like a Korean club. They had this like freshman dance off every year, and a group of freshmen would like practice for months like for this dance off. And during that time, like people who don't even really like dance regularly, they would do this because it was such a like it's a really cool thing, right? Like you're like getting together with you're building camaraderie, like doing a really cool dance and like competing with other schools. But maybe because like they were so in that mindset and like so like 빠졌어 into that, there were a lot of guys during our freshman year like just 혼자서 feeling and vibing themselves, like popping a little bit.
Yes.
So that is definitely an ick.
It's like we're just having a good time and like having conversation. You look to the right and the guy's like tutting, doing something with his fingers. That's a good one. Thank you, Josephine.
That is a good one.
Okay, I'll just finish this part off and then Jess, you can go to the next screenshot.
Okay.
Carrie also submitted more loud chewers and breathers. Mama's boy. My dad is a mama's boy.
Yes.
So it's an egg right there.
We don't want to raise any dusty mama boys.
And then Jessica O. She is a follower that we actually personally don't know, but she just found us and she likes us. So shout out Jessica O. She says guys with high pitched, is it voices maybe? Guys with high pitched voices.
Sydney SML says, when he doesn't know his directions, only I'm allowed to be directionally challenged. Wait, this is so true. Because I am like 진짜 like I'm kirchi of kirchis. Like I need to navigate everywhere I go and it's like so embarrassing. But that part of my brain where it's just regarding directions, it's completely turned off. Like I'm sure like if people analyze my brain and like if anything has to do with directions, I'm sure it'll be like just dead in that area. But if I feel like Josh is like struggling with directions, I'm like, why do you not know, Josh?
Like mad judging him.
Yeah, which is so funny. That's a good one. Wow, long and dirty nails. I guess that's a common one, huh? Jane Kim, long nails with dirt underneath them. Yuck. So that's a common one. Jane, again, when people sneeze or cough without covering their mouth. Oh, hell yeah, dude. Ever since COVID too. That's a sin right there. Jane, people who chew really loudly with their mouths open. Classic. Jane did so many. Guys who dance at the club thinking they're in the Kaba Modern or some dance crew. Okay. Nice.
Another dance one.
Next one. Guys who like to take a lot of selfies or have photos taken of them. I feel like that one's like, yeah, definitely an ick. But if they're 잘생겼어, 그러면 뭐 나쁘지 않은 거.
봐줄 수 있어.
Not bad. 봐줄 수 있어.
Yeah. Sorry, one thing. People who chew really loud with their mouths open, I realized I do that. And I only realized recently when David told me that. David pointed that out to me. And then I was like shocked because I never knew that about myself. And then I was talking to Sarah. I was like, dude, Sarah, like, David said I chew really loudly. And she's like, yeah, Janice, you do. And I was like, what? Tell me. Anyways, it's a really bad habit. I need to fix it.
Next one. Sarah Yang. When Koreans hate on other Koreans. Yeah, man. Why you gotta do that? We gotta stick together.
You know, like when they go like, I hate it when Koreans are, or like they think they're white or something, you know? Like they think they're not Korean and they're not Asian.
Yes.
That's definitely an ick.
Oh, yeah. There are a lot of people like that. Yeah. Or like some girls who like, they don't date Korean guys, but like they date other races and they're like, oh, I can't date a Korean because like blah, blah, blah. But then you're talking to me who is married to a Korean.
It's so weird.
Yeah, it's like, okay. All right. Your dad is Korean, so all right. Sarah Yang, 모르면서 아는 척하는 허세 새끼들, which means you don't know anything, but you're like a know-it-all jerk, basically. Hui mouth breathes a lot. He goes,
he's a baby though. We love Hui. Michelle, Yabishmish says, overuse of emojis. Only for guys though, lol. She said lol. She used lol.
A millennial.
Flip-flop and jeans. I hate flip-flops. When guys wear flip-flops, it is kind of an ick.
My brother wears flip-flops and jeans all the time.
Okay, except for your brother. Your brother, we can forgive your brother.
Why? Why, Janice? Why?
We love Dr. Kwan. You can read the next string of comments from this one person.
Wow. Andrew. Shout out Shim and Shin Pod and the praise director
Shout
of
out
Citizens.
to our praise team leader.
He has a lot of Icks. Wow. Okay. I'm just gonna go ahead and go down the list. Oh my god, blue hair or any non-natural hair coloring highlights. What? Like even balayage, Andrew?
No, I think he means kind
balayage
of like
is so pretty though.
I think he kind of means like I don't want to be mean, but like the otakus.
Okay, yeah. Like just like completely like pink, blue, green.
Yes.
That kind of hue.
Yes.
Okay. Again, really long nails. Princessy entitled girls, but funny enough, if they're pretty guys, will still like them.
Wait, what?
Princessy entitled girls, but funny enough, if they're pretty. Oh, I see. Princessy entitled girls are his ick, but funny enough, if they're pretty, guys will still like them.
Wait, princessy and entitled.
Yeah, so
isn't that us?
He's saying
we are Andrew's ick.
Girls acting like they know sports. Maybe leave my name. We won't leave your name anonymous, Andrew. Girls acting like they know sports. Maybe leave my name anonymous on this one. I'm scared. To clarify on sports, there are girls who actually know sports and I respect them. But there are girls who clearly don't, but they'll act like they do, either to impress a guy or seem cool. Like, it's okay to love sports, but don't talk to me about how the Rams need to run a 4-3 scheme. I don't even know what that means. Or how Lakers should play to break a 2-3 zone. Just be a fan and enjoy the game. Damn, Andrew. That's cold, man.
Wow, he definitely experienced this from somebody.
When girls wear panda dogs, I have panda dogs.
Well, you don't wear them anymore, right, Jess?
I don't, but I was gonna clean them and wear it again.
Wait, why is there hate on the panda dunks? I don't get it.
I think it's because it's so it's just so common. Like everybody wears it, so it's just like lame. But a lot of people do wear it. But I'm entitled. I'm princessy, and I wear panda dunks. So I guess I am your ick, Andrew. I'm so sorry.
But just going back on the sports thing, I think it's so cool when girls know how to like watch a game and like know what a game, what's happening and stuff. Shout out to our friend Spake. She knows all about football. She teaches about football every Christmas party every year.
Yeah. Maybe Andrew's point is like it's totally fine if they enjoy sports, which is really, really cool. But once they're like talking about the technicalities, once they're like kind of like, like just like I don't know. Like 너무 아는 척하면 싫다는 거지.
Yeah, those are great icks.
Yeah.
But yes, thank you so much to our listeners for submitting these icks. We had a really good time talking about them. Right,
That's
Jess?
a good one. Yes. I had so much fun, Janice.
Okay, and then 오랜만에, long time no talk, but we're gonna bring up Kangchu Corner really quick. I'm just gonna talk about mine really fast. I was listening to this artist, this singer called George. He's a Korean singer, pretty famous now, but his songs are so good. Like all of his songs. If I'm like, I wake up in the morning and like I do the blinds, let the sun just soak in, and I just play any of his songs, it just lifts my spirits. I feel so good. So my Kangchu is listen to any of George's songs, and you know what? Make yourself some breakfast. Make yourself an avocado toast. Make yourself a smoothie. I shared this last week, but I didn't include it. But shout out to Jeong. She gave me a really good banana smoothie recipe. It's very delicious, easy, and full of nutrients. Basically, it's just one frozen banana, 2 dates, 2 medjool dates, a scoop of peanut butter, and then ice cubes. And you just blend it all up. Oh, sorry. And then a scoop of oatmeal. It's so good. You can feed it to Hui, Jess.
Yes, I will definitely try. And I've actually never listened to any of George's music. Is it George?
Yeah, it's so good. Like it's kind of like it gives like the 약간 옛날 감성.
Is there a specific song maybe?
Yes, you know his song. His song, one of his famous songs is "I'm on a boat." Na 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 na. I'm on a boat. Anyways, it's like kind of like he does R&B too, so it's nice. It kind of gives like a Crush / PH1 / Sam Kim vibe, but I really like
slash cold.
slash cold. Exactly. It's in that realm for sure. I like Look at Me by George. I like All Day
Mhm.
by George. Oh my gosh. And he also does like a rendition of an old song called
Mhm.
고칠게, I'll Change
Okay.
by George.
Mm.
It's like the Cyworld Kim song.
Okay.
I really like that song. So listen to George, please.
All right. I'll take a listen. Thank you for your 강추, Janice.
That's all for today. Please make sure to tune in next week.
Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We love you guys. We appreciate you guys. Send us some love. I haven't been getting many messages, guys. You know me. Guys, if you've been listening this far, you know me and you know what I want. So, again, thank you guys for listening this far. Tune in next week and we'll see you soon.
Bye.